CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Najahe Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Off the top, we have breaking news. Governor DeSantis has suspended the mayor of North Miami Beach. As we first reported, Anthony DeFilippo was convicted for voting in a North Miami Beach district that he wasn't a resident in. We're going to have much more on this tonight at 5. We have new information on more breaking news. Police arrested a 5th suspect in the Hollywood broadwalk mass shooting. He is Lionel Jean Charles. He will face a long list of charges, including first-degree attempted murder. Surveillance video caught the chaos as it happened. Police say 2 groups got into a fight on Memorial Day evening, and that's when the shooting began, sending people running for cover. 7 of the 9 victims are out of the hospital.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look at downtown Miami, a drier start to the week, but a few storms for parts of South Florida today. Next Weather Chief Meteorologist Ivan Cabrera is here with the latest.
Yeah, a little break here from what we had over the weekend, which was a lot of rainfall. In fact, 5 to as much as 9 inches of rain in a couple of days. That was a lot here. Mid-upper 80s right now, where we've had a few showers. We've cooled off a little bit with temps in the lower 80s, but really nothing widespread as we talk about rain tracker right now, just picking up on a couple of showers and some interior thunderstorms. But most of the activity really is going to stay west of our neighborhood, save for places like Homestead, Florida City, down towards the Upper Keys by later on this evening and into the early part of tomorrow. Things will quiet down. We still have some dry air overhead. That big tropical air mass that was on top of us is eroded away, so we'll call it spotty storms for tomorrow. Still some thunderstorms in the forecast, but coverage about 30%, so not as widespread. And then we talk about this upper low in the Gulf. That's going to start pumping in some tropical moisture in our direction, and what that will do beginning Wednesday and continuing through the end of the week is increase our rain chances and also increase the amount of rain that these storms are going to be capable of producing. So we think we're going to get back into flood advisories and well, some street flooding and things like that. So afternoon storms by the time we get into the weekend, looking ahead to that. And then this coastal flooding potential here during the times of high tides. We have a coastal advisory for that. Otherwise, I think we're looking pretty good as far as the weather for tomorrow. Temperatures in the morning in the upper 70s, and then we'll get rain chances through the afternoon. That'll be the window there between 1 and 4 o'clock for thunderstorms. But generally throughout the day, I think 30% will about do it with an easterly wind. That's going to keep temperatures in the mid and upper 80s. And there you see the rain chances increasing for Wednesday through Friday each day. 60% coverage, highs in the upper 80s. And the weekend right now looks a little bit better with 50% coverage. There may be some dry air that tries to work its way back in here. If that happens, that's good news for you and me for the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. We may lower rain chances for now through the next 7. Highs near 90 and afternoon storms.
All right, thank you, Ivan. We are following new details on a deadly shooting in Opa-locka. The victims were in a rideshare vehicle when gunfire erupted overnight. CBS News Miami's Jacqueline Quinn was in Opa-locka with the story.
A family member of the woman shot tells us she's recovering in the hospital, and they tell us that she was traveling back here with her boyfriend and her son after going to the movies, but her boyfriend did not make it. ShotSpotter, the technology that detects gunshots, sent Opa-locka officers to 2060 Lincoln Avenue at 1:07 a.m. The shooting woke up Anna, who didn't want to show her face on camera.
We were sleeping already. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and the shooting, it just like woke us up and, got us very nervous. Even our dogs were just like barking and barking there nonstop.
She said she heard around 5 gunshots.
And we came outside and we saw a lady that was lying in the middle of the street there.
So far, Miami-Dade police, who took over this investigation, have determined the deceased man, the woman, and her young son were using a rideshare service when another car drove up and someone opened fire on the people inside this blue Honda SUV. The driver of the Honda and the child were not hit, but the woman was taken to Jackson Memorial Hospital Ryder Trauma Center in critical condition.
It was very scary. Then the fire rescue came, a whole bunch of police officers, and they just took her into fire rescue, and they just took her away.
Police tell us the shooter did leave the scene. They're not sure in what direction, but we're going to be checking back in with them to get the latest information. For now, reporting in Opelika, I'm Jacqueline Quinn, CBS News, Miami.
Potential jurors are back in court in the Scott Peterson trial. They're being questioned by prosecutors and Peterson's attorney. It's about their knowledge of the 2018 shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School and whether they can be fair in the trial. Jury selection began last week. Peterson faces 7 felony counts of child neglect, among other charges. The former school resource officer could get nearly a century in prison if convicted. When we come back, they took control over the Denver Nuggets. How they got the win, next. Welcome back. Your Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets are head-to-head in the NBA Finals. Miami bounced back with a big fourth quarter to take Game 2. CBS News Miami's Mike Cunio is in Denver with more.
Well, the Miami Heat do something no team in the postseason has been able to do, and that's beat the Denver Nuggets on their home floor. They came into Game 2 9-0 here in Denver, now 9-1 as Miami evens up this series at a game of peace. The Nuggets and the Heat exchanging haymakers for the first 3 quarters. Miami needing a fourth quarter rally, and they get a spark from Duncan Robinson off the bench. He scores 8 quick points, mean mugs the camera, and from then on, Miami would build a double-digit lead. Duncan Robinson goes on to score a team-high 10 fourth-quarter points to help put Miami ahead. Jamal Murray for the Nuggets had a chance to tie this game at the buzzer, force overtime, but that shot is off the mark. Miami is heading home with a 1-1 tie and now owners of home court advantage.
It's a huge to steal one here, going back to Miami. We know that we got to protect home court. We've made it this far. We know there's not going to be an easy win. So, we'll celebrate this for a minute, but not much more, and get ready for Game 3.
It's also good to see Max Strus get into a rhythm early. He really sparked this team in that first quarter, knocking down his first 2 3 balls. The message to the shooters after a slow Game 1 was to keep letting it fly, and it pays off for the Miami Heat. Once again, they are heading back to Miami with a 1-1 tie. Game 3 will be Wednesday at the Kaseya Center. In Denver, Mike Cunio, CBS News, Miami.
Now to the Florida Panthers in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. The Cats will try to follow in the Heat's footsteps and even up the series. The Panthers lost on Saturday night. Florida jumped out to an early lead but fell 5-2. The opening face-off is set for 8 o'clock tonight from the T-Mobile Arena. Last night was a sports fan's dream in South Florida. As we mentioned, the Panthers play Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Vegas. There are no more games tomorrow night. The Heat will be back in action on Wednesday night at the Kaseya Center for Game 3. The Panthers will play Game 3 on Thursday night in Sunrise. The Heat then play Friday night and the Panthers on Saturday, both at home. Mental health matters. CBS News Miami is committed to helping you deal with mental health challenges. For our youth in crisis, that help comes in the form of specialized units. I had a chance to learn more about how the CATS unit is helping our youth heal.
Thoughts or doubts of what's going on with.
Alina Caro told me she feels good about her future. She's in school full-time, interested in a degree in psychology, works part-time as a nanny, and has lots of hobbies. But it has been a journey to get to this point. She told me her life took a drastic change when she was 16 years old. She was on a cruise with her family.
3 days in, I started to not really feel well. And some things were happening, some things were going on in my brain, and I didn't know what was going on.
The situation got really bad. Her mother took her to the emergency room where they ran several tests. Doctors determined Caro was experiencing psychosis.
We were very concerned. She spent quite a good amount of time on the CATS unit.
CATS stands for Child and Adolescent Treatment Services. It's a behavioral health unit with Memorial Health System. It provides round-the-clock psychiatric care for youth experiencing a mental health or substance abuse crisis. Dr. Celine Hamilton is the CATS medical director. She told me they have treated children as young as 4 years old. Caro shared a little bit about her experience on the CATS unit with me.
I was able to be brought out of psychosis through medication and therapy, which was what happened on the unit. While I was on the unit, the CATS unit, I was being monitored and I was being stabilized through medication and through talking with the doctor and the nurses and everything. And thankfully, I came out of that state of mind.
Dr. Hamilton told me there has been a sharp increase in the need for CATS services. Emergency room visits by children and adolescents are on the rise for anxiety, mood disorders, and self-harm right here in South Florida.
We have seen an exponential rise in children coming to the Joe DiMaggio Peds ER for behavioral health crises.
She offers this advice to parents.
The most important thing, I would say, is communication, checking in on a daily basis, making sure that the child is eating, sleeping, and feeling supported within the family, that they're not withdrawn, isolated, lonely. So we want our children not in their bedrooms in the dark playing video games. We want them out and about.
Doctors eventually determined that Caro had bipolar personality disorder.
I remember hearing the words bipolar disorder and thinking, oh my goodness, like I really didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to take it. But looking back now, in hindsight, looking back, I'm happy that I have and confident in my diagnosis, and I'm happy that I have the correct treatment and good treatment.
We have mental health resources on our website. Just use the QR code that you see on your screen. You can also go to our website. It is cbsmiami.com. Later tonight, a sonic boom rattled the nation's capital. Tonight at 5, new details on the response and who was on that plane. That's your Quickcast. I'm Najahe Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami.